Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. How is everybody doing today? Let's take a look and see what we got going on in terms of weather. Yeah, the tropics are remaining active here. We got a 10% chance on this system behind what was the remnants of Cindy, Tropical Storm Cindy. That is actually a new system, as the remnants of Cindy are way up here approaching southeast Canada. So we'll keep an eye on this system. And how about our system here? That last segment I showed you actually had the chance of developing. We'll see what happens to this big old blob of moisture here into the Western Caribbean and see if we have any chance of development here. Eastern Pacific is really starting to crank up with storms. We'll also take a look at your Western Pacific from the Philippines to Asia and Japan here and beyond. And guess what? That's right. We'll take a look at your smoke details across the eastern half of North America, and we'll see just what kind of weather. Yep, it looks like a lot of rain and thunderstorms to start off your 4th of July weekend. Let's get into it. All right, let's cut to the chase here with the Atlantic. We'll start off with, and we'll discuss that East Coast trough too, whether that's going to lift out. Don't forget, smash that like button down below, question or comment down below to keep our weather conversation going. It really does help a lot. Share the video with all your friends and family. Let's take a look here. Yes, we got that system out here into the Atlantic. I really don't think there's really that great of a chance of this actually development. You can see the GFS here. I'll show you the European model momentarily. It looks like a lot of wind shear is going to take over this system as we go in time. You can see the U.S. East Coast. We have this system kind of just hanging out through July 4th here. So how about our system here into the Caribbean? Well, as we take a look at here it kind of shows up here just like last video segment I showed you. Look at this, July 1st. And as we continue to move towards the northwest here, towards the 2nd, yeah, it's moving towards Cancun. But at this point, it looks like the GFS is kind of going a little bit more with the European model a bit further west into Central America. And it looks like it tries to reemerge it over here into the western Gulf of Mexico. And as we continue in time here, you can see it tries to flare up a bit. And it might actually generate into something here. This is towards July 5th. So now we're kind of watching possibly the Western Caribbean here. We still have a few days to watch this system. And it really starts to look a little bit more impressive as we head towards July 7th. Look at this, South Texas. Could we be looking at maybe a Western Caribbean tropical system? It's quite possible, and look at how it just hangs out here for the next several days. So we'll keep an eye on it here, especially for those of you into the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean. And we are watching another tropical wave out here in the Atlantic. It is getting sheared apart, as you can see, as we go through July 4th. It does approach the Lesser Antilles here towards July 3rd and 4th. See how it comes through this region right here. So late the 3rd into the 4th, it kind of buzzsaws through and then kind of pivots towards the north coast of South America. But yeah, it doesn't look like in the short to medium term we have any areas of interest out here in the parts of the Atlantic. I'll show you the dust, the Saharan dust, the big factor that'll play into as well. You also see one thing to notice that's pretty curious. Our Bermuda high is way over here in the northeast Atlantic too. So that is a interesting pattern that has retreated a bit farther to the northeast for the time being. All right, so the European model here, let's take a look. It's pretty similar here. It's nice to see that both models are agreeing for the most part. Let's take a look at our system here around the Bermuda area. Yeah, just east of Bermuda. On the European model, it does not look like it has too much of a chance. It is kind of developing into something here. You can see as we get towards later on July 2nd, we might have something try to flare up as we kind of zoom out here. I know a lot of you like to see reference to land here. I've heard it in past comments, so I have heard you loud and clear. Here we go. Take a look at this. So yeah, the next system here across parts of the Caribbean heads into the Lesser Antilles. There it is, July 3rd, July 4th, towards Puerto Rico. You can see getting some heavy rain here, and let's see that continue on to the west. So actually places like Jamaica towards July 5th here, and as we continue to head towards July 6th and 7th, towards the Cayman Islands. So bringing you some nice Caribbean rainfall here as we head through the 7th. Now, what's going on with our system here? If we take a look at the Western Caribbean, here it is showing up July 1st. It's just off the east coast here of Central America. That's pivoting towards the northwest. You can see it here over the central and southern Yucatan Peninsula, well inland by the 2nd here. So the European model really booking the system towards the northwest. And as we continue in time, you can see it really doesn't emerge it much into the Gulf of Mexico until about the 5th. So whatever's left of it here on the European model, you can actually see it here. Here's the south coast of Texas. And as we continue in time, let's see if the European model does anything with this. Well, it kind of just hangs out for a little bit, and you can see its moisture does eventually start to entrain into South Texas. So it's starting to look like we might have a system that wants to head towards the western Gulf of Mexico. Dry air at mid-levels, you can see there across the MDR of the Atlantic. This is what's going to prohibit any chance of development, at least in the medium term. Here it is into the Gulf of Mexico as well. You can see plenty of dry air. And there's our system there hanging out around Bermuda. It does have a moist flow up around the eastern side of it. Now take a look at this as we go in time. There is that big surge of moisture there across the western Caribbean, and as you can see, it heads into the western Gulf of Mexico as well. But behind it, you can see, look at this area of dust just expanding. This is going to preclude any development. Look at the ITCZ here. It's starting to weaken a bit. And unfortunately here, we have an East Coast low. This right here, this towards July 9th here, could be smoke from Canadian wildfires. All right, so across the Caribbean here, as we take a look at that system and any tropical moisture as we head through the weekend, here's rain in millimeters. You can see we're going to eke out probably about 25 millimeters or so of rainfall over the weekend across the Cayman Islands and Jamaica. But look at that across Central America. We really start to fill that rainfall in. Take a look at this. Yeah, we're looking at rainfall totals here on the order through Monday, July 3rd. We're getting up towards, this is kind of crazy, anywhere from 50, 60, 70 millimeters of rainfall. And here in Jamaica through the Cayman Islands, we're probably looking at an average about 30 to 50 millimeters of rainfall. And as we head back towards the Lesser Antilles, parts of Puerto Rico, island of Hispaniola here, take a look at this. So yeah, you're pretty well dry until we get to Monday, the 3rd and the 4th, Tuesday, and look at this into Wednesday. Yeah, that tropical wave that's going to surge through here, it's going to bring you some moisture, more so across the Lesser Antilles, upwards of 50 millimeters of rainfall, and then closer to 70 or 80 millimeters over towards the Dominican Republic. All right, so what I wanted to show you here, yeah, that's that mesoscale convective system on Thursday afternoon. This is quite a system to be had here. What's actually going to happen with this system as we head towards the overnight hours into tomorrow morning? You can see it pretty much fizzles out by this point. So, yeah, you're looking pretty good with a few exceptions for just west of Louisville towards, 11 p.m. as we head through after midnight Thursday night. But take a look at this. Look at the western plains here. This is where things are really going to crank up. And the good news here across parts of the east, this is a front that's going to be pushing southerly winds. Now, normally you'd think, oh, the hazy, hot, and humid conditions are coming back. But guess what this is going to kick out? All this smoke that's sitting up here in the Ohio Valley in the northeast, it's going to push it to the northeast and out of this region. And look at that. We can welcome the hazy, hot, and humid conditions. I think those thunder showers, take a look at how close they come to Cleveland. They will go through Erie and Dunkirk there. But look at Cleveland will remain dry. There is a chance of showers and thunderstorms later in the day across western Pennsylvania, parts of Michigan. And you see, the chance is minimal. So if you have outdoor plans, don't cancel them completely. Look at this, though. 3 a.m., big thunderstorms around the Cleveland, Erie, and Buffalo area. So watch out for that as we continue to go in time here. Big thunderstorms. You might be waking up to some loud thunder from Rochester down to Pittsburgh here. So watch out for that. And yeah, unfortunately, you're going to be looking at a thundery, rainy day across parts of the Northeast here, upstate New York, Pennsylvania. You can see that line of showers and thunderstorms. Here's where things get very bad, though. This is the Ohio Valley. This is 2 p.m. Take a look at Ohio here. This is the last frame. I can't go any beyond this, but thanks to our mesoscale model, we know something is going to be in the area of western Ohio, eastern Kentucky. So, if you have outdoor plans, this would be later Saturday, 2 p.m. Please stay tuned. It could get really rough. And some of these cells in upstate New York and northern Pennsylvania towards Elmira and Binghamton could get pretty strong as well. Okay, so really concerning here on the European model. Look at the rainfall as we go through July 1st, July 2nd, July 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, the following weekend. Yeah, this is quite a bit of rainfall from the deep south all the way up through the Ohio Valley. Look at this. This is crazy. Some of these red amounts, you're getting up towards 4 to 5 inches of rainfall here. This is not looking very good. And as we take a look at your synoptic view with your rainfall here, yeah, as we head towards Saturday, July 1st, we're going to see a tremendous amount of rain here from parts of the Ohio Valley, Midwest, and up through the Northeast. Watch this. This is just going to be kind of crazy the way this plays out. Unfortunately, most of this is going to fall over 4th of July weekend, so if you have a long weekend, look how here it is, the 2nd into the 3rd, maybe a slight break, but look at this. It's just continuing to go on in time like a broken record, like train cars on a railroad track. The only saving grace is look at the 4th. You know, this is for the most part a drier day, so you might actually eke out, with the exception for some scattered showers and thunderstorms in parts of the Northeast. I have a lot more weather for you coming in just a moment, but here's a quick announcement from my affiliate. I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease, or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code. All right, so the smoke situation is just miserable. If you take a look, let's back that up there. So yeah, Thursday afternoon and evening, here's where it was positioned. It's just downright miserable. You know, most areas seeing 150 to 200 on the air quality index scale, which is just atrocious. That's getting up into code red and close to code purple. But as you can see here towards Friday morning, we still have air quality problems. It is going to start to shrink towards Cleveland on eastward here, especially from North Carolina up to New York State. We're still going to have problems. That's why the air quality alerts have been extended for most areas through Friday night. So look at this. We get to early Saturday morning, and look what starts to happen. Let me just back this up a second. You can notice the pattern here. See that being eroded from Illinois, Indiana here, eastward. This is a front. And, of course, there's severe weather that's going to be ongoing here. But that's going to push east, and it's going to scour out the smoke here, essentially, because you start to have that northerly wind switch to a southerly wind. So that's going to help push the smoke out, up and out here. And as you can see, look what it does by late Saturday afternoon. It really starts to push it back north here. We're still dealing with it, but it's not enough to really cause any significant problems. The problem is, look how far it's spread out here across the eastern part of the United States. So if these fires really start to get cranking and we get that northerly wind again, we could have some problems. So here we go. Is that East Coast trough going to go bye-bye? Well, let's take a look. So as we head towards Sunday, here it is Saturday and Sunday, the 1st and 2nd of July. Yeah, you can see it's evident here. It's not a massive trough, but here it is in the Ohio Valley. It's still going to cause some issues here. So it's going to feel like that trough's continuing in the east. You see, we don't have that full ridge like we do up here in Greenland. And unfortunately, you know, as we head towards the 8th, the 9th, it just doesn't look like that ridge. I showed you last video segment that this was going to be replaced by a ridge. It doesn't look like it's happening now. So as we get to the CFS model here, medium range, we're going to go further out into July. This is curious, though. The CFS is indicating more ridge here across the east, especially after where the Euro picks up. So there is some hope here. Wanted to throw that out to you. The trend for the CFS has been to increase the ridge here across the east. Look at that, July 20th. It's not until about the 24th or 25th the trough starts to kick back in, but there is hope. Look, there's actually a big trough up here in Greenland, so that'll help a ridge develop again towards July 29th and maybe set us up for a big old ridge here for your month of August. So the European model here, let's take a look. I showed you on the mesoscale model those thunderstorm outbreaks as we head towards Saturday. So here we go. We're kind of picking up a little bit where the mesoscales. Big storms here in the Central Plains, storms here across the Appalachians. Now as we head into Saturday itself, there's the big area of thunderstorm complex. Here it is showing up on the European model. Ohio, southwestward towards Kentucky. Please stay tuned. And that kind of pushes towards Cleveland, Erie, Pittsburgh, towards 2, 3, 4 p.m. Look at that. And then we see an explosion of showers and thunderstorms here on the backside of this as well with this area of low pressure. So please stay tuned. It's probably going to be a big severe weather day across parts of the Ohio Valley here into parts of the Northeast. So please stay tuned for that. There could be some big problems here, and those thunderstorms continue on into Sunday. In fact, it looks a little less severe, which is great news, but rain and embedded thunder showers will probably be the name of the game up here on your Sunday. So if you have any early July 4th plans, look at that. Let me just back that up one frame. This is the afternoon hours. This just looks downright terrible. So if you have an outdoor plans, I would advise against it. And look at later in the day, this low pressure starts to push this front a bit farther to the south here. Surge of moisture up here into the northeast, though. And let's see if this hangs out into Monday. Yeah. In fact, it brings with it showers and thunderstorms into the northeast. Actually, let's just back that up. Here we go. So there it is Monday. The low pressure skips across upstate New York into New England. And showers and thunderstorms continuing Monday afternoon behind it. So here's our system. What's going to happen here? There's high pressure. Behind these low pressure systems, you always get that shot of potential wildfire smoke from Canadian wildfires. Well, it looks like the showers and thunderstorms are going to kind of preclude that for the time being. But as we head towards 4th of July itself, it looks like it tries to clear out. It's going to have a hard time, though, from the Hudson Valley, Catskills, Poconos on eastward here. But let's see if we can clear it out. Look at that. Later on in the day here, July 4th, we do clear it out. The problem is there'll likely be potential for some smoke from the Canadian wildfires behind that. As we continue in time here, you can see we see a couple clear days through Thursday into Friday until we get that next surge of moisture coming in for next weekend. You can see it there, Friday, July 4th, and then that dives southward across parts of the mid-Atlantic there and into the northeast. Look at that. You see a big surge of moisture here with a big area of low pressure. It looks more reminiscent of winter than it does summer here. Look at that. That's pretty much an all-day rain event for your Saturday into Sunday, the weekend of the 8th and 9th. All right, so as we take a look at rainfall here, we'll take it through Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and Wednesday and Thursday of next week. So, yeah, let's just take it through 4th of July here. So, yeah, the weekend looks pretty rainy there across the Ohio Valley into the northeast. And as we get into later next week, into the following weekend, yeah, we're going to have to keep a really close eye on this because this is a broken record pattern from the Ohio Valley into the northeast that could prove to be dangerous because this is anywhere from 2.5 all the way up to 6 inches of rain, especially in those yellow and orange areas. So taking a look at the northeast here, this is Friday, so you're eking out a pretty good day. Later Friday into early Saturday, this is where you could get some showers and thunderstorms, anywhere from 1/10 to 1/4 inch here in Ohio, Cleveland, Erie, Pittsburgh, near Buffalo, Columbus. And that kind of spreads eastward for your Saturday into your Sunday. Here's your weekend. Yeah, it looks pretty like a washout, especially later Saturday into Sunday across parts of the northeast where you're getting up to 1 inch to 1.5 inches on average. As we continue to go through Monday into Tuesday, look at this. We just add on to this. So your July 4th is in question here into the northeast. Look at this. We're just piling another inch late the 3rd into the 4th here, and that heads on into parts of. And then look at this. We just add on top of it the following weekend, the 8th and the 9th. Look at this. If this does verify, You know, this is a lot of rain in such a short period of time, even though it's spread out over a week. We could be starting to encounter some problems. As we take a look at the Eastern Pacific here, we have Hurricane Adrian here. Take a look at this. This is going to be a fish storm. This is the European model. You can see how it spins towards the northwest. And as we continue in time, this thing is going to continue through July 3rd and eventually fizzle out here over towards the Pacific. Now, take a look at our next tropical storm. Beatriz here. Take a look at this. This system is going to cause land impacts here. And let's just back this up here onto the European model. You can see as we head towards, this is June 30th. So we're heading towards your TGIF, your Friday. It is not going to be a good time of it here along the resort towns of Mexico. Take a look at that. It's just going to be a bad time of it. So if you are in any of these coastal resort towns, this is going to become a hurricane and move up along. You can see towards July 1st here, 80 mile per hour, wind gusts to 100. So if you're anywhere along the Mexican coast here, Colima on westward here, Manzanillo, Puerto Vallarta, please stay tuned. This will be weakening to a tropical storm, though, by the time it reaches just southwest of Puerto Vallarta. But take a look at this. This system continuing towards the northwest. It will eventually approach the Baja of California as a minimal tropical storm. So this is a very interesting system. And here we go into the Western Pacific. Take a look at this. So yeah, our system out here west of the Philippine Islands, it seems to be weakening at the moment. As we continue to go through July 1st here into July 2nd, you don't really see anything on the European model indicating any sort of development. Let's kind of zoom out here a bit. Look at the southern Philippines here. There's some rainfall kicking in here with another tropical wave that we'll have to keep an eye on. We do have a system up there in Japan. That is a northern stream system, so that is like an area of low pressure. But look at this. As we continue to head in time, yes, more rainfall through much of the Philippines on July 7th. But look at this. As we continue to go forward here, I don't really see any significant areas of development. So here we go with the GFS model. Let's see if that picks up anything here into the Western Pacific. And as we take a look here, we don't see anything other than our system here off the west coast of the northern Philippines. You can see there it is. It's cruising towards South China here. I don't really think this is going to develop much. It looks a lot more impressive here on the GFS model than it did on the European model I just showed you previously. But take a look at that. That kind of heads towards the Vietnam and South China area over here. It doesn't look like development now. There are some clusters here in the Intertropical Convergence Zone that look a little more significant on the GFS, but as we head towards July 6th, they pretty much fizzle out. And look at this. The Philippine Islands looking pretty clear, with the exception for the south, where you might see a few showers kick up around July 8th. But look at that. Yeah, this is actually a godsend here, kind of looking like a very nice area of high pressure from South Japan all the way through the Philippine Islands here. It is pretty far out, though. A lot can change through July 13th. Temperature-wise, as we head into your Friday TGIF, this is a big baking mess here across the Deep South. Hundreds all the way up to Missouri, even upper 80s up here into the Northeast. You might actually be pushing, look at this, upper 80s here along the lake shores as well, from Cleveland up to Buffalo. So this is going to be a warming trend as we continue towards your Saturday as well, July 1st. You see, look at the heat up here into those northern plains, heat down here into the south and the northeast, getting toasty into the mid to upper 80s, but the humidity will be on the increase. And look at this, clouds and rain here will actually keep it down into the upper 70s in Cleveland up to Buffalo. So that is pretty interesting up into Maine as well. And look at this. We start to lose those triple digits here across the south. Look at that. It's just mid to upper 90s. It's still going to be downright hot, though. 90s will be heading up towards Wisconsin as well towards your July 3rd. Now, the July 4th holiday, it's looking pretty cool up here across the northern plains. Low to mid 70s, but look at up here across the northeast. It will be toasty. Some areas towards Scranton and Binghamton and Harrisburg, New York City could be up close to 90 degrees. So watch out for that into your Wednesday. Look at this. The heat is on here in the Northeast. Some areas approaching 90 degrees once again. Extended outlook from hometown viewers. Binghamton to Scranton's upper Susquehanna River Valley of upstate New York and Pennsylvania. Take a look at this. Yeah, Friday we still have some smoke and haze in the area, but you will be getting up to 91 degrees. So watch those air quality alerts. Saturday, the warm front pushes in, and look at this. Showers, thunderstorms likely both Saturday and Sunday. Sunday, even a better chance, up to 3/4 of an inch. And look at this, Monday and Tuesday. hate to say this, but look at this. We're basically looking at a 4th of July that will have a really stormy start. The only saving grace is later Tuesday, especially for fireworks displays. You may get a break later in the evening as storms push to the east. As always, thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's weather. Take a look at the links down below. I have my affiliate link for Trilogy maps, so if you want to get some of those, I do make a commission off those. I just wanted to disclose that, but go ahead and use the code MeteoMark to save 20%. Also, visit my Hurricane 2023 Outlook if you haven't already. Link at the end of this video and description down below. Don't forget Facebook MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern for my tropical page, at MeteoMark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com, Twitter at WeatherEastern. Thank you for joining me.